Hello students, we will start our next chapter, that is control and coordination. Control and coordination is very important for proper functioning of our body, because we know our body is made up of different organs and organ systems, and all the organ and organ systems are well coordinated and controlled by one of the very important system, that is nervous system. Nervous system is very important because it control and coordinates other systems. All systems work in coordination, they work together hand in hand because of the control which is done by nervous system. So in this chapter we are going to read about nervous system, and what is the function of nervous system is in the name of the chapter itself, that is control and coordination. Neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. When we say structural unit, it means our nervous system is made up of neurons. Neuron is the basic unit, as the cell is the basic unit of our body. If we consider nervous system, so neuron is the basic unit of nervous system, and functional unit because the basic function of control and coordination of nervous system is at basic level done by the neuron. So that's why neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system, and it is also the longest cell of the human body. This is how the neuron looks like. It has got three parts, that is, first is dendrite, second is cell body, and third is the axon. These fine processes or the branches are called dendrites. They receive the stimulus. They receive the stimulus from the environment. What is stimulus? Stimulus is given by the environment, and as per the stimulus, our body gives the response. So stimulus can be anything which is hot, cold, or any external factor which is there given by the environment is known as stimulus. So that stimulus is received by the dendrites. They are branched, highly branched and short processes. Then the stimulus come in the form of a message called nerve impulse. You can say nerve message or nerve impulse, and it comes to the cell body. Cell body is also called cyton. Cell body is also called cyton. Then it comes to, from the cell body, the message goes to the axon. Axon is the longest part of the neuron. Because of long axon, neuron is the longest cell of the human body. So there are three parts of neuron: dendrite, cyton, and axon. Now we have to study the neuron in detail. Let's see. Neuron is basically having three parts: 1, 2, 3, cell body, dendrites, and axon. Cell body is like any other typical cell, having the nucleus in between and cytoplasm. But here cytoplasm of neuron is called neuroplasm. So cell body is a typical cell containing central nucleus and neuroplasm. Now next one is dendrites. These are highly branched structures or processes. These are the branching. These are called dendrites. Okay, and then we have got the axon. That is the longest part, and at the end we have got axon terminal. Terminal means end point. Okay, so this is how the neuron looks like. This is the basic structure of the neuron. So it has got dendrite. Dendrite receives the message. The message comes from the external environment in the form of stimulus. It receives the stimulus, then it gives it to the cell body, and from cell body it comes to the axon. So this is the pathway of the nerve impulse. So when the stimulus is moving in the neuron, that time it is either electric impulse or nerve impulse. Okay, stimulus now becomes the message. Either you can say message or you can say electric impulse. Electric impulse because it is very quick, just like electricity, electric impulse, or you can say nerve impulse. Please be familiar with all these words. Either you can say electric impulse or nerve impulse. So these are the message or message which is moving along the neuron. Okay. Now one more thing was left, that is related to the myelin sheath. The axon has got the myelin sheath also. If you see this one, this is the structure of the neuron. Here outer covering of neuron is there, which is called neurolemma, and inner to it, it can have a sheath called a protective covering, another protective covering called myelin sheath. The neurolemma is also there outside as a protection of the axon, and inside is your myelin sheath. So on the basis of whether neuron has myelin sheath, it is called myelinated nerve fiber, and if it does not have myelin sheath, it is called non-myelinated nerve fiber. So let's see in detail what is this all about. So here it is about the nerve fiber. So nerve fiber can be divided into two categories. One is medullated, or you can say myelinated nerve fiber, and another is non-medullated or non-myelinated nerve fiber. Now axon is surrounded by two sheaths. The axon, the longest part of the neuron, is surrounded by two sheaths. I am just drawing the axon so that you can understand well. So this is the axon, and this is the myelin sheath which is there. And it has got outer neurolemma. So neurolemma is outer, and thin sheath, that is neurolemma. Neurolemma is like, it will be there in all type of neurons as a covering, outer covering, but myelin sheath is optional. If myelin sheath, this pink structure, if it is present, if the inner myelin sheath is present, then such neuron are called medullated or myelinated nerve fiber. If it is absent, if the inner covering, that is myelin sheath, is absent, then it is called non-medullated. It means it all depends upon the absence or presence of the myelin sheath. Okay, if the axon is having myelin sheath, then that nerve fiber is called medullated. If it is not having, obviously it is called non-medullated nerve fiber. And neurolemma will be present as outer covering. Neurolemma is there, which is present as outer covering in case of axon. It is present in both nerve fibers. Now types of neuron, very important topic, types of neuron. There are three types of neuron, that is sensory neuron, motor neuron, and mixed neuron. For this you have to understand it in a better way. I told you that we get the stimulus from the environment. Stimulus we get from the environment. For example, this is our sense organ. The stimulus is received by the sense organ. We have got 5 sense organs, and just think that this is the skin, one of the sense organs. So skin has got some of the receptors. Skin has got some of the receptors over it to receive the stimulus. These are the receptors which are present on the skin. Now first type of neuron, that is sensory neuron, they will sense the stimulus and they will pass it through the another neuron which is present nearby them. This is the another neuron, and you are aware of the fact that the gap between two neurons is known as synapse. Every neuron is attached with another neuron, and there is a gap between them. That connection or the junction is known as synapse, and synapse is very important to transmit the nerve impulse. Okay, so this is the sense organ. Sense organ has receptors to receive the stimulus. Now the stimulus goes to the neuron, sensory neuron, which are attached to the sense organ, and now the message moves in the sensory neuron in the form of nerve impulse. Either you can say nerve impulse or electric impulse. Initially it was stimulus. Now when it is moving along the neuron, now it is called electric impulse or the nerve impulse. Then it after some time, then it goes to the brain, that is central nervous system. Either you can say central nervous system or brain. Okay, it goes to the brain. Then it comes back from the brain after brain does the processing work, and it comes back from the brain, and it now the another type of neuron is there which receives the message from the brain, and this is known as Such type of neuron are known as your motor neuron. And then the motor neuron give the message or the nerve impulse finally to our effectors. Effectors can be, there are two types of effector, your muscles plus glands, okay, which bring about the the result basically. So there are three types of neurons: sensory neuron, motor neuron and mixed neuron. Now you must be wondering where the mixed neurons are. So mixed neurons are present in the brain itself, and these mixed neurons, they join the sensory neuron with the motor neuron. They join the, what is the role of mixed neuron? They join the sensory neuron with the motor neuron. So I am just repeating once again that there are three types of neuron. One is sensory neuron, then motor neuron and mixed neuron. Sensory neurons, they receive the stimulus from the sense organ, and they pass on the message in the form of nerve impulse or electric impulse, and they pass on the message to the brain. Brain is central nervous system. And there are mixed neuron also. These mixed neuron, they connect the sensory neuron with the motor neuron, and from the brain the message which is processed and interpreted, now it will go to the effectors. Now it will go to the effector via your motor neuron. So motor neurons are those neurons you can see here, and now clearly that motor neurons are also called efferent because they come later on. So efferent neurons, and they carry message from brain to muscles or glands. Both muscles and glands are called effectors. Please remember, muscle and glands are called effectors, okay. And sensory neurons, they carry the stimulus from the sense organ to central nervous system. And mixed neuron, they connect sensory and motor neuron. So this is all about the neurons. Thank you very much. You have to watch the video twice, then you will understand better. Thank you.